Hello lovely people, James Morrison here and another video, and something a little bit different. I thought I would bring you some Trek Emondas. So behind me I have two Trek Emondas. I have my ALR5 Aluminium and I have the SL5 2022 model in the blue, with a few upgrades. Point of the video: is it worth the extra money for the carbon, or would you stick to the alloy? Now that's something that I'm going to answer for you today. So welcome to James Social Cycling. Yes, so welcome to another video. Welcome to Emonda Vs Emonda. So I've been lucky enough to get my hands on, which we'll take a closer look at, is the SL5. So it's the 2022 model. It has got some upgrades, which again we'll go through. But I wanted to test out and see whether there was any differences between the alley frame and the carbon frame. Now this is entry level for carbon. So you're looking at a retail price of 2,700, I think, off the top of my head. That's the retail price of the standard bike. So this isn't the standard bike. Again, we'll go through that. So you'll see on the SL5 that it has, the carbon frame is a lightweight and aerodynamic 500 series OCLV carbon frame and fork. You can still buy the Emonda, even though the frame set of mine is 2019, it is still available. It's just in a different colour now. So you can buy the disc version as well. But I think you'll find the disc version of the ALR is about $1,750. That's a sale price at the moment. I think you're looking at, 2,300 retail, off the top of my head, I think. So you've got the two different geometries. So you've got the H2 and you've got the H1.2, and that's obviously just the geometry change of the bike themselves. So H1.5 on the SL5 just gives you a little bit more sort of a racier feeling, but the 2's a little bit more slack. But as we look over the bike, you'll see that the Emonda is the Trek climbing bike, so it is quite a harsh position, which I quite find comfortable, which is quite weird, but anyway. Yeah, so the bikes themselves aren't, the geometry is not too much different, to be fair. If you're looking for a new ALR, I think they do the ALR6, which also has the same 1.5 geometry and a nice colour scheme. I might put a picture in here as well to do that. So what was the whole point of this was really just to see, is the entry-level carbon Trek Emonda SL5 worth the extra money? Now I know for a fact that this bike has been purchased for, I think it was 2,050 on the sale price. So but again, I'll show you the upgrades, where this at the moment you can buy for 1,750, I think, again on special, but that is the disc version of the ALR5. My bike cost me around about, I would say, 1,600 in all, but I bought the frame and built everything up. I had a lot of components from an older bike which I put together, and obviously I've got a cheap set of wheels on there at the moment, which are the Axioms. But the whole point is really just to find out, is what's the difference? Is it worth the money? Is it worth the, is there much of an opportunity to have more gains? So yeah, so just making sure that if you look at, for the standard SL5, you're looking at retail of 2,700, and for the ALR5 retails at 2,325. So you're looking at a 375 increase in price at the moment. I know I'm not doing like for like, but at the end of the day, let's have a look and see if we can come up with some idea whether the aluminium or the carbon version is better. 23 miles in on the SL5, the Trek Emonda SL5, and I have to say, apart from there being excessive chain rub, both small and big ring, I have enjoyed the ride. Excuse the noise. The chain, the front mech is a mess, so I need to sort that out. So my thoughts, yes, I feel faster, but the problem is we were always going to feel faster with the Mavic Cosmics on, so it's not really about that, it's really about comfort. And although the H1.5 is slightly different in geometry than the ALR and then the ALR5, I think I probably could do with another couple of rides just to get used to it, to be fair. It's always the same when I come off the Emonda and go on to the Topstone. It's a little bit different geometry. I ache a little bit. Well, actually the other way around, Topstone to the Emonda ALR. So yeah, takes me a couple of rides just for my neck and shoulders to get used to the different position. So my thoughts, soft, feels soft, really feels soft middle. The saddle's not great, it's too soft, but the whole ride doesn't feel as harsh as the ALR5. It feels a little bit softer. The bars help with that, and I'm talking midsection, but the bars help with that. So here you've got, these are the giant D-fuse. So the owner wants to put on some carbon bars, but due to my video he doesn't want to put cheap Chinese stuff on. So these giant D-fuse are supposed to have some flex, some give for an alley bar, which I've already used before and I actually like. So, but I am used to a little bit more of a larger platform to rest my hands on, but it has been nice and comfortable up there, so I can't complain with that for such a short ride. And for the first ride, I'm noticing quite a little bit of difference, and in that I'm quite excited. I was very worried this morning about the Cosmics because I can nearly get blown off the bike on my Topstone, and that's with a set of 32s and the Hope 25s. But today, not been too bad. Not been too bad at all. So all in, I have to say I'm quite impressed. Quite impressed by the feel of the bike. Apart from the saddle. But I'll go into more details. I haven't weighed the bikes yet, so the intro you saw, I hadn't even done that yet. So yeah, so I'm trying not to shake all about, so I'm going at a nominal speed of slow plus slower. Anyway, so there are some upgrades to the SL5. So you have the Cosmic 45 carbon wheel set, which obviously will give it some pace if need be, but as you know and I know that these wheels will only be beneficial once you get to a certain mile an hour once you get to a certain speed. So in my case, and obviously the owner of the bike, being very honest, like probably 80% of cars out there, they all have alley wheels, which is just basically a cosmetic look to the bike. It makes the bike look awesome. Although if you look at a lot of reviews on the SL5, they will tell you that the standard wheel set is a bit of a lump, which pretty much any bike you buy, unless you spend 10 to 15 grand these days, you're not going to get a decent set of wheels. I do have the wheel set, and I will try the bike out with that wheel set just to give it a bit more of a balance as a standard purchase. Also, the 105 crank set is a 4 eyes, so it's a dual power meter, so there's a bit of an upgrade there. And there's been a swap as well on the cockpit, so the actual bars are a giant defuse bars. So the bars that come with them were an aluminium, and anybody knows the Emonda, they do get a bad rep for being a harsh ride. So I think the owner putting them on has done himself a favour. So the 105 mechanical, I think, is, as we all know, is just as good as it will ever get, I think, when you come to a budget set. But looking at the bike in a whole, the colour scheme, the blue, the dark blue, it is obviously really nice to look at. The bike itself just has a bit of an awe, and obviously the wheels help that. There is an upgrade on the wheels as well with the I think the Ultegra rotors, disc rotors on there, but everything else is standard 105 on the bike. There's obviously a gold chain as well on there, and the rear cassette has been upgraded. Standard you'll get an 1130 with a small cage. He's upgraded the rear end for a 1134 and long medium or long cage, whichever one that would fit. So there are a few upgrades on that, but it comes down to the actual ride itself, doesn't it? So how did it feel? I've only been out on the bike once, so I don't feel that it's good enough. I did 27 miles on the bike yesterday. I don't feel that that was a good enough ride for me to be able to come to you and tell you what the differences were. But there were a few issues. I didn't get on with the saddle very well. The saddle was very sort of squishy. It doesn't seem to have. I've got the Versa Comp on my top stone and on my ALR5, the Emonda, and basically they've got something that looks like the Comp, but to be honest it looks like a cheap rip-off. There's no carbon rail around it to give you any sort of support whatsoever. But overall I think the bike itself did feel quicker, which it would, but it did feel a little bit more comfortable, and that's not because of the saddle. Just felt comfortable, whether that was something to do with the bars, whether that was something to do with the wheels or the carbon itself. The bike did feel a lot more comfortable over the ALR5, so the aluminium version. So there you go. What I will be doing is I do a weight test, but I can't do that at the moment due to the fact that I've lost my scales. If I find them, I'll add that in. As soon as I get them, I will do a weight test. But if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you want to know what's going to happen to these two, what the outcome is, then you're going to get more of a better idea when I've ridden this baby a little bit more. If you have any questions down below, the main review will come shortly, but not after one ride. Alright? Anyway, thanks for popping by, lots of love, and I'll see you on the road very soon.